recording. Okay guys, we on now, right? So what I was saying is my drawing is on. I just open this one, right? So let's imagine, right, you have the blog website, blog. So how it should look. So I can draw now. Let's say this is your website, right? This is your website. Then you're gonna have a nav bar on the top, nav bar right here. Yeah, and maybe we can add footer also, simple footer, right? We can add that. So in the blog page, most likely we will have a logo here, something to, let's say my blog, right? My blog. Okay, then we can add here uh, all blog. Can we display all the blog, right? So all the blog, anyone can see that one. Okay, all blog. Now just maybe you just want to see your blog, right, or our blog or my blog, something like that. When you click this part, you're gonna only see your blog. In this page you can see everything, right? Maybe other people blog also, like over whole thing, right? Here you are only access to your blog. Then what else we can add? So my blog, we're gonna add also, right? So let's do add blog also. Okay, let's put it there. And then here maybe we can add, so we need to log in and register, right? So let's try that one. Log in and register, maybe. Yeah, register. So when you click, this is just for navigation, right? So when you click on this login, maybe let's say, so what I'm thinking, right, we're gonna add login and register in the same file, and there on the bottom, right, there will be maybe the button to click. So either switch to login or switch to register, right, page. So maybe just keep it slice here. Okay, login, register, something like that. Okay, so that is done. So in our model, right, if I have to talk about the model. Okay, model, how it should look now, right? Let's go. Okay, the model. So you're gonna have user model, user, right? User model with basically name, email, and password. Okay, password, correct. And then we're gonna have blog model, blog, right? So here we're gonna add let's say first will be title. Let's add title. Then we're gonna do title. The blog can have title, description. Let's add description. What else? Description. We're gonna add image, right? Okay, and we're gonna add, okay, so title, description, and image. So we just keep little short, right? Image only. So if you look at this design here, right, what we see is we have my blog. Okay, so how I can know, right, which are my blogs, based on my login, correct? I have a login, and then in my login, somehow in my user account, right, somehow I need to know to track all my blogs, whatever I created, right? So how I can do that one? So for that reason, we have to establish the relationship, the relationship between this user and blog right here. Okay, so let's think, right? So user, if I have to say user, so one user can have many blogs, correct? One user can have many blogs. So b1, b2, blog 3, like that, right? So blog 3. So that means in the user model, somehow we have to create one field also, right, to keep track of all the blog. Maybe let's say we can keep track of blog ID, right? ID. Okay, so that is what we need. And each blog now, right, each blog is created by single user, correct? I mean, there will be only one user, whoever, right, to create each blog. So even here we're gonna have a user field, correct? User field. So somehow in our model we're gonna create user field, and also in the user model we're gonna have blog field. Okay, blog field. And that's how we know each other, right? Who is the person created the blog, and if you look at the blog, we know who is the user for that one. So that's how we will be able to write the API to get all the blogs, basically all my blog, right? So I hope that is clear. So the more important is here to understand the relationship. Okay, so we will see in the in our schema, right, basically how we can write or model how we create that. Okay, all right, so let's create one project folder first. So in GitHub I will add create new, right? So here is a new repository. So we call it what we can call it, blog, maybe blog, something like that. Yeah, let's call it blog, right? So this will be MERN stack blog. Okay, so readme file, and then nothing, just create this repository. Once the repo is ready, we're gonna clone that. So what I will do, right, I'm gonna clone this repo. So let's go back to our GitHub, sorry, Visual Studio. So I'm in this folder, right, in my GitHub folder. I mean, you can put anywhere, whatever, wherever you guys are adding, right? So the command will be git clone and space and paste the link. Okay, and enter. So I just clone it. So I will just switch to the blog now, right? cd to blog. Okay, so here I have one readme file, but now when we are working with the full stack development, what we do, right, normally we create the two folder. So we can call it backend, right? The first one is backend, and we're gonna add second folder, call it front end, or maybe, yeah, let's call it front end, right? Front end. So right now we're gonna work on the backend. So let's go and switch to the cd to backend, and backend, right? Fine. In the backend right now I don't have anything. So what I will do, I'm going to create one file, right, to add my server, basically my like gateway. Okay, this file is act like a gateway, right? Get means the door from where you connect to other server. Okay, so this will be main file, right? So just call it app or server js. Okay, done. So next step is initialize the project, right? So npm init -y, so that it will answer for every question, right, automatically. Okay, done. So now in the package.json, what you see is this main has a app.js. Okay, so what I'm thinking, right, we're gonna remember last time we used like a required, basically we use required, right? Every time when you have to get any module, you use the function require. Okay, so this time we're going to use the ES6, basically latest one, but still I think this is in the test, what you call that, this is still in the experimental version, right? So what we're going to add here, that we have to change the type of this file, right? So let's change that. Type will be, so there is common JS, which is like normal, right? Even if you don't add, that is common JS, we just add to module. Okay, so see the common JS is default, is there, but we're gonna switch to module now, right? Okay, we're just gonna use module. Fine. Now so let's add the all the software, whatever module we need, right, to complete our project for our backend. So what are the software we need, or library, or you can call framework, right? So the express, so let's install. npm install express, right? Express, we need node1. I mean, you can add node1 as a development dev, right? Dev dependency. I will just leave it here, okay? And node1. What else we can add? uh, I think .env to secure our, the passwords, or maybe the connections URL, all that, right? .env. What else? Let's say we have a, I think we need course also to make the relationship, or basically to establish the secure connection, right, between the front end and back end. Okay, when the two server is communicating, uh, there is a Windows security, right, called course, basically that will block the communication. So you have to add this middleware, okay, course, right? So let's install that. uh, so we have node1 express node1 .env course. Body parser, maybe no need, right? We're gonna need mongoose also. Mongoose, yeah. So I think that should be enough. Mongoose, install that. So the process will be almost same, okay? Whatever we are doing, right? Same process. That's what I'm saying. You just have to memorize it, whole all of these things, right? And you should be okay. Fine. So we have this. So now we have to establish the node1 to run our start command, right? So let's say start, and we have a node1, and then we're gonna call the file called app.js, right? But now, because this module is still in the experimental phase, right? There is something, let's say, I think there is a node. Let me find out, right? I don't remember the whole code. Node1 dash I think experimental module or something like that. Okay, let me search. No more. So yeah, I think we can just put this one, right? Something like that will be fine, I believe. If there will be error, we'll try to sort out that. Okay. So the experimental dash module, right? And there is one more flag, I think, something like dash es maybe dash module, right? Module. Okay, just I don't remember. I will figure out. Okay. but let's leave it right for now. module module. Hope that will work. Okay, so if there will be error, then we have to find the complete code, right, for this one. So now the installation is done, right? If you look at the package, you're gonna see code.env, express, mongoose, everything is connected, I mean here, right? So that, what is the next step now? So you can have like a, now you can just do import, right? Import express from express. Okay, you can just write like this, simple enough. And you can have const app, right? Let's execute this function express, and if I do app.listen, right, and you just put a port 5000, you know, and then you call the callback function here, console.log, and you say app is running in port, just write port here at port maybe 5000. So if you just go ahead and npm start, right, it should run our server. So see, this just run, just server is listening to port 5000 now. Okay, so everything looks okay. The next step is getting connected to our MongoDB, mongoose, right? So let's do that one. Let's create one project there. So I will log in now, or basically sign up or sign in. So I have to use the Google account. Click on this, my email ID. So let's find something, right? My blog, or maybe let's say if there is something. Okay, don't. Okay, let me quickly create one, right? New. I don't know if it will allow me or not. There is so many projects I added, right? So if I just call it blog, right, and see what happens. So that's the owner. Okay, create project, add member to set permission. Okay, let's leave it like that. Create project. So I would be like basically the default, my email ID is the default, right? So I'll just leave it like that. So the only thing, you know, what you can do, right, when you are creating any new project, you can set up the database access and network access. Okay, these two things you can do, right? So, and the next one is database, right? So let's click on database, and let's click here, right? Let's see what happens. Database, build database, right? And free, click on free, create. Okay, so you have to select stair, right? Here. Yeah, that is enough. Okay, so the username, right? So what I will do, I'm just gonna change it to admin, and here is the password. So I'll just select or copy that one. Okay, so I have to save that somewhere. So let me. Okay, so we need a env file now, right? Let me add env. Create user, so that will be admin, local environment, or maybe you can select cloud, right? Yeah, let it be cloud. Okay, so now the IP address is here, right? Look at here. But with this one, you will be not able to check from outside if this website is somewhere, right? If you host online or something. So basically what we will do, we will just remove this one, right? And add my current IP address. I mean, basically you can add 0.0.0.0. Let's see. Yeah. You can manage. So only an IP address you add to your. Okay, so that is all. We just finish and close here, right? Just do that, and it will maybe takes maybe a minute to create the cluster. And cluster is basically creating the project folder for your project, right? So done. So let's see if you got one more thing, right? I mean, we set up the password already, but if you go to the database access, okay, let's see where it will take us, right? Let's see. I mean, I'm just using different way today, you know. Sometimes I will go through database access first and then go through the network access, right? So you can see here, read, write, admin access, all that. Mostly you need to have read and write access, okay, to any database, right? Read and write. Now network access, that was the IP address, right? So see if you go edit, you know, current IP address, or you can just confirm this, right? I mean, basically just leave it like that, 000. Okay, so we done with the setting up our database. Go back to your database, and we have to get the connection link. So let's get that. So now I will create. See, in the collection you're not gonna get anything. Collection is what? The table, right? Let's say user table, blog table. Okay, right now we don't have. So what we do, that will be created through our model. Okay, so first we just get the connection and driver. What is the driver, right? Copy this link now, this link. Fine. So that we need for our env, right? So I will call it url. Maybe let's call it mongo, right? Mongo underscore db, better. And I will place here. Okay, so I just have to add this password to this place. Okay, done, right? Also, I mean, you can set up the port also, right? If you want, you can add the port here equal to 5000. Okay, so now we have to do, so app is there, right? So we have to, you know, I think not app but express, right? Express that config. What was that, app or express? Even I always keep forgetting that. App.config, right? .env. Oh, sorry, let's import that first. Import .env, right? From .env, and then you can do the .env, right? .env.config. Okay, that's the one we have to do. So next one is import mongoose also, right? And yeah, so I think that is okay. Course, let's add the course also, so we don't have to worry later, right? So we know we need this, so let's add it. Import course from course. Okay, so that done. So what we can do is after app, right, after you initialize, or basically when you execute this express and add this app object. Okay, once you get this app object, you can use that now. App.use. So the first we're gonna run the course function here. Second, we're gonna do app.use, run the express.json, right, to parse all the JSON data. Okay, Then yeah, what else we can do? We have course use with express. What else? Okay, I think that is enough, right? So let's connect to the database. Okay, so mongoose, right, dot connect is the function. Yeah, and here what we're gonna do, we're gonna call it process dot env, right, env dot mongo underscore db. That is our database. With this link, right, it will return the promise, means it will return something, just maybe the connection established, fail, whatever, right, it will return, but that will be in the form of promise. So when you have promise, you can just do dot then after the promise is returned, means after the promise is successful, then function will run. Okay, so there will be callback function, and here what we're gonna do, right, we're gonna, we just call the app, right, app.listen. When the database is connected, then listen to my local host, right, app.listen, and here will be process dot env, right, env dot port. Okay, so see, when you have app.listen, what we can do, remember what we have done here. I mean, you can even add the callback function right here as well, same thing. So we can console log, simple console dot log. We say app is listening to localhost, right, and port number is, so we can just call the port now, right? So you can say again process dot env, process.env.port, right, that is the variable, basically the, you know the name of the port here, port. Okay, so then, so we got the first then, right, when it will be success, what if there is some error, so that is the catch method, and it takes callback function also, and it has a parameter with error, right, error, and you can console log that, console.log error. Okay, so let's close this and see if this is working, right. So let's see if we get some answer. So app is listening to the local host and the port number is 5000. So everything's, because this connection, right, is success, the mongo connect, that's why we went to the then method, and it connected to our port 5000, and that's why you have this callback function returning, or basically console logging this, console log this information. So that is what we see in the console here in our server. Clear? So our server is ready. This is what you do, right, to create a server normally. Sometimes you have couple of more, maybe the middleware. These are the middleware, basically the functions you need in the middle, right, when you are communicating with your database, with your front end, in the middle it will do some work. Okay, so yeah, so that is all about the backend, right, not all, but basically creating a server. So let's now add our folder structure. So what we're gonna do, so we're gonna have 3 folder, right, let's add that, controller, and we're gonna have a route, right, and we're gonna have model. Okay, so let's add the model, call it user.js, and we're gonna have another model called blog, right, let's add that, blog.js. Okay, so we got all these two. What else we need? Model. Okay, let's add the controller now, right? So we have a user dash controller, or we can call it users that user, or users only. any, I mean just the file name, right? So let's use controller users dash controller dot js. Okay, so we got that, right? User controller, and also we can create the route. So let's create that. So we can have users, let's keep it users dash route dot js. Okay, fine. So even we can have model blog, right? Blog or blocks dash route dot js. Okay, and the same with the controller also, right? You're gonna have blogs dash controller dot js. Okay, what else? So we got both controller, both model, and both blog, right? All right, so now, so how we gonna start? So the first thing I believe is what, the cook, right? Cook, that will be the model. Okay, let's create that model. So creating a model, okay, so creating a model, right? So first we have to import, we need a mongoose, right? Import mongoose, yeah, mongoose. This is a library which, you know, give us the functionality to create the model of our database, right? And it help us to basically just return the object, right? Whenever you need to create that object, you just use that model and you pass the data and it will give you back the object. Object means what? It will, let's say you have name, email, and password, right? Password. Okay, so and also this model is the middleman, like middleman to go and get something from our database. It will take something, it will create the object and it will send to the database, all that things it will do, right? Basically act like a middleman. It creating the structure for our whole database, right? So you can call it a blueprint for the, you know, blueprint for our work here, the project. So it will return the object. So normally in our object, what you do, you're going to have like this curly bracket. So this is this structure, right? Basically let's say this is this structure, this is the user one, right? Let's say user1. Okay, so name, and there will be name colon, right? In normally name colon will be John, like that. Email colon will be john@gmail.com. You know, that's how you put, right? And password equal to password colon password. So just remember that is what we do. Okay, with this model, it will basically, it will get the whole object. It can get the whole object from your database. But when you're creating the each user, it will give you this object and then you save this object to our database. So we're gonna have the route, right? We're gonna have a route which will take all this object created by this model, and then it will take back to our database. So that's how it work. We'll see how we can create now. So we got a mongoose. So the first we have to establish or create a schema, right? We name that one. Everything is variable, you know, just store in variable, right? Const, we can call it user, yes, simply user, like that, and schema. Okay, so schema is basically what, the blueprint for our database. And how we're going to create now, in the form of object, right? So this schema is everything is coming from this one simple object, right? Mongoose is a big object. It has a lot of functionality, you know, to get data by ID, to send data and all that, right? But once you create the object, right, once you create the schema, this schema will give you one big object or functionality, right? And from using that functionality, you can handle the remaining work, right? By basically user dot get something, user dot, you know, like uh, add or something, create something, you know, some things like that. All the functionality you will get. So how we create a schema? So we just add the new keyword, right? And then you call the mongoose dot schema, see here, and that's the function. Basically this schema is a function, and you define the whole object inside, right, like that. Okay, now in this object, this is the main object you pass to the schema. Then you're gonna have like a small object for each property. So in your table, just now think like this, right? In our, okay, this is closed, done. Oh, one more thing, I want, when I see the database, I remember, right? Why not we put the name of our blog, like basically our, we created the connection to our database where we don't have any database, right, which is going to hold our each of these uh, collection. Okay, these are the collection, right? So, or table. So in our env file, we can go back here after .net, and we're gonna name it. So let's call it my blog, right, like that, something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. So remember, before we gave the name of the project, the blog was the name of the project, okay? But now this is the database. So this is the database, right, where we're gonna create many collections. So we're gonna have the user collection and blog collection inside this database. Save that. Yeah, let's keep moving. So in the user, where we are in the model, right? Okay, so let's add now, right? Let's add the information about our schema here. So the first one will be name. Same thing, the type of this name or type of the data is string, right? That's how we learned all the data type in the JavaScript: string, number, boolean, all that. So that is string. And the required, yes, we need. So adding this field, it will, you will be not able to save the data without filling out the form or sending the name. Okay, so we make it true, right? Yes, we need, it is required. So it's kind of validation also. Okay, save. We can add the next property called email, and that will be type colon, right? So type will be string, 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 yeah. And required, right, true. Okay, the next we have one more, that will be name, email, and password, right? So we're gonna have type also. Let's see, type, we can put string, required, we're gonna make it true. And we're gonna, we're gonna give another property called like mean length, right? Mean length, I believe, minimum length, right? Yeah, mean length. Mean length will be, how much we can add? Maybe 6. Is this the number, right? 6 or maybe 7, like that, 8, whatever it. So you have to insert this minimum 6 number length of the character right here. Okay, so I think that is all the setup for our password, right? So remember what I said earlier, right? So for the blog, in here, how we gonna set up, right? If this user has any blog or not, how we gonna know that? So we have to write more, basically maybe we have to create one more property, right, like this, called blog. But we will do that later. Okay, let's first finalize this whole functionality, and maybe we can upgrade that. Okay, yeah, so let's do that one. So user, we got, so we're gonna export this, right? So export default, right? So now I'm gonna call it mongoose dot model, and what else, mongoose dot model, right? And this model will gonna have a user collection. So basically user, right, collection. And we have to pass this schema, so that is user schema. Okay, so what gonna happen in the database inside our my blog database, right? It will create the table or collection called users. You will get something like this, okay? That user, and this user is going to hold, basically it will be like an empty array, right? And it will hold all the data now here. So you're gonna have name like this, right? You're gonna have email and password, right? Password. And later when we add the blog, so it's gonna hold also, because one user can have multiple blog, okay, many blog, right? So that means we're gonna create the array for that blocks, let's call it blocks, right? And inside it will hold maybe the id, right? So how many blocks there will be? Blocks, every block has id, so we're gonna store that id for each block here. So later we're gonna have a route to just get this information. With the help of this information we can fetch all the blocks, okay? So just remember this pattern right here. Means here will be the number, the id, the real id, right? You'll see how it looks later. Yeah, so I think that is okay. So we just export, right? Just export this default. So the next step is a controller, right? Let's go to the controller. So what we need now here to, let's import, right? Import user from model user, right? And so what else we need? So let's create one, basically get all user, right? Let's create one function, or basically controller, or we can call it callback function, get all user. So request response, right? So how are you gonna get all the user? Okay, so what I will do, right, I'm gonna get all user. So I'm just getting all the user, I don't have to do anything here. Let's see, I just want to get all the user if I have to, right? So for that case, what we're gonna do, right? Let's see. So we're dealing with the database, so now we're dealing with the database. So for that reason we have to add async here, and I will just create one variable, right? Let users, okay, and I'm gonna do try catch block here, try catch block, okay? So in the catch you just add the error, right? Error simple like this, and console log, or maybe you can even return, right? Or let's console log, console.log error. You can return, you can return like a response, you can do the response also. So res.status, maybe let's say if there is error, right? Then you can call it maybe 5000 something, whatever the 5000 number means, right? So you have to check all this error, all this code. 2000 is success, right? 2002 is basically I think submitted, data submitted, something like that. So 5000 maybe some error, or 4000 maybe, and then you just return the JSON file, right? In the JSON you send the object with the message property, message like this, and here you can just pass that message, whatever the error, just call it here, done. So you have to return this. Okay, I just added something extra, but we can leave it console log, that's okay for now. Okay, let's see what we can do in the try block now, right? So you just call the users. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a question about the model file, the schema.
Okay.
Is there a place that we can find a list of all of the different properties that a single attribute can have? For example, I didn't know that.
What are the things you can add here, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, there is in the Mongoose, right? If you go to the Mongoose website, if you just maybe search Google search Mongoose, basically we can call it how to create a schema with the Mongoose, right? And different properties or validation we can add. You will get some maybe some information, but I will look for and then I'll send you, okay, later, okay? So
Okay.
there
Thank
might
you.
be something in the list of things you can follow, right? So I have not checked, I just basically remember a couple of things and that's what I use, right? But there I'm sure there will be something, so in the Mongoose website there will be like whole book, right? You can documentation where you can study. So yeah, I will look at that and send to you, okay? The concept will be same, only thing is the different validation or different properties you can add here, right? Based on the whatever that these things is doing, okay?
All right. Thank
So
you.
yeah, so let's continue where we are in the control, the user controller. So here you have the user variable, right? Here the names will be user users, right? Okay, so this variable gonna hold our all users. So how we find that? Async. So you now gonna get data from the database, so make it await. So it will just wait until the data is returned, and then you call your user model, right? User model, because this user model, the schema here, this model, right, have all the functionality to deal with our backend database, okay, the our Mongoose database, right? So here if I just to find, right, it will just find me all the data from our user collection, okay, because we are using the user collection, right, or basically user model. That means it will look inside the users collection, it will go and look inside the users collection and find all the data, and it will returns the promise here, right, inside this. So once you have that, so what we can do now, right? Yeah, so let's say, just imagine we get the data, right? We get the data here. uh, so what we can do here, so we can just do the validation, right? Yeah, let's write some validation here. If there will be no user, then what you want to do? Let's say if there is no users, right, then you might maybe return something, return some response, right? So response dot status, and the status may be 404, something like that, and then send the uh, json object, okay, with some message, right? So we can write here message, and we can call it user not found or something like that, right? User, so that will be string, okay, user not found. Okay, what else? Let's say if there is users, right? So we have to return that now, so let's return that. So we're going to return again response, that's the one to send the data, right? So response, first we pass the status will be 200, so that is okay, that means we get the data, right? JSON, and here I think we just call the user, right? Users, just send this object, okay, one object holding that users, and good enough. So now we're gonna have many routes, basically many function like this, right? Many controllers. So let's export here now, right? Export, okay. So that is exported. Now we're gonna import that. So we need couple of things here, right? We need express also, express from express, import express from express, right? No express, okay. So what wrong here now? Something is not correct. Save this. So I will say import express from express, okay, good. So once we have express, in express now, because express handles all the http. See, remember express server, right, has all this http method, like get, post, create, put, all that http methods to do our job, right, to get something. Or because now what we are doing, right, we are creating the routes, routes, and for that url routes we need to have http methods to run through our server, right? And express has all that functionality. So how we get that? Basically you say just store in one variable cons route, right? Let's call it maybe, yeah, let's call it router, because cons router. So we can call this user router, or maybe let's leave it router, and the other one we can call it blog router. Okay, so here from express object, right, you call that router function. Okay, once we have this router function, now this object this object receives now, or basically this object holds all that functionality, get, post, all that, right, put, delete, so now these are the http method, or this is the http method, right, basically function, and they have some job to do, right? So get means get data, post means send data to the database, put means for update purpose, right, delete means for deleting something in the database. So see, we have all this now functionality in this router function, or basically this object, right? So this router will be same thing, big object here, right, and it's gonna have get, and there will be get, right, like that, t, just imagine that, and there will be the function maybe to do something, right? Okay, and that's the get we are using. So we say router dot get, router dot post, right? It should be something like this. Okay, so every time when you have object you can call it router dot, so we are using get, right, get function. See, we just get, you can call p now, right, you're gonna get post, you're gonna, there is param, pass, prop, define, there is so many things, right, put. Okay, but in our case we just need first one is get, right, get route. Okay, so in get route, what I want to do, right, so you have local host. So in our let's say in the app we're gonna add there maybe slash users, or maybe API, right, API slash user. So API slash user, and then here get all user. Okay, so just call that call function, right, you just import it here from controller, that controller function, and we have to export now, right? So export, because there is only one function variable to export, we can call it export default, right, export default, and the thing we are exporting is router. Okay, so the next thing we can do is go back to our now the app right here, and then set up that. So just below here, first I need to import. Okay, so let's import that, import router from router user router, right? Later you'll see we're just gonna import the blog router. So now you can create any number of model, and each model you have to do the same thing in the same process for every model. Okay, so first one is app dot use now, right, use, and here we're gonna have the localhost path dot slash API slash what else, we have API slash we're gonna call it users, maybe user, right? Okay, let's leave it like that, API slash user, right? So this API is for user. Okay, so you always gonna have the route like this, you're gonna have localhost colon, right, and our port is 5000, correct, always like this, and then localhost 5000. That is the root path, right? Root path. Then you have added this API slash user. Okay, and whatever you add now, right, over there, so maybe there will be maybe login, maybe sometimes log out or registered, like that, right? So there might be different path, but this will be the base path. Okay, base path. And then what else we can call here? So I will just call our router, right? Router. Yeah. So let's see if this work or not. We're gonna check now. So we have written everything, and user, no. So there is something wrong now. What is the error? So yeah, so this is the, now I cannot find module. Yeah, that's the one, right? So so what, where I have to find that whole thing, you know. So let's see, type module code to start node 1, right? Let's see if there is something. Oh man. That I should have looked at earlier. So let me search again, right? So that will be, so I'll just write start here, colon, this will be something like this, node 1, right? And dash experimental, experi experimental, experimental module, right? Dash module, I believe, dash module, and then dash es dash module, and maybe specifier, right? specifier, specifier, uh, dash resource or something like that. Let's see. Yeah, here, got it now. Yeah, that is what we need, right? So experimental specifier dash resolution, right? Resolution or equal to node, and then let's try this. So node 1, yeah. Let's see if now is okay. Experimental, right? Module experimental. God, what might be the thing. Oh god, this. Let's see, let me copy this, right, and see if I can paste the whole thing and I can find something. So node mon dash dash experimental dash module, right? Modules. Then dash dash es module dash specifier resolution equal to node, right? And then we have app.js. Let's see. Let's save this. Why this giving error again? Okay, let me control C start again, right? npm start. Okay, so that's the reason, right? Maybe sometimes you just have to stop and start again. Okay, but this will be the code, right? This one line of code you have to add it there and everything will be okay. So node one dash dash experimental dash module dash dash es module dash specifier that resolution dash node, right? And app.js. I mean app.js is just our file. Okay, whatever the file you put, maybe app or server or whatever, you just add here. So that file will be started, right? And now we are allowed to use the import directly, right? Okay, good to go. Let's close this. So now we're gonna go back, right? Our server is running, our model is ready, we added one route already. So let's see if this work. We just go here, maybe let's say get, right? Get. Okay, so the now the route will be http, right? http slash localhost 5000, right? 5000. So we have API, remember API slash user, right? User. And if you send the request, okay, so see, basically the users collection is created and it is empty now, right? So if we go back now, check our database here in the browse collection, right? You should see one collection now. So my blog is the database name and we have users. Okay, later we're gonna get blog, right? Blog also. So now inside the user there will be all this object. For every user there will be one object added, and you know you're gonna get all that inside this array, right? So array inside you're gonna get object. Okay, so good to go, right? So let's continue with the basically writing the rest of the controller, right, for our user. Let's try to do that. So now close this. So user controller here. So what will be the next one? What next one, right? So in the user, let's say why we are creating user, right? You want to create user means you want to maybe some kind of sign up, login. These are the controller we need, to do the sign up work. Before we had post, right? Post, add user. Basically we adding the user, right? So let's create the function called const. Let's call it export, right? Const sign up. Okay, sign up. So here will be async, request response. Okay, now right, in the sign up, what gonna happen? You're gonna have a field, right? You're gonna have the field. Basically you have the, let's say you have the field with the name, email, and password, right? Password. Okay, so field for password also, and then you're gonna have button to submit, right? Submit or maybe save, right? Or basically add. When you click that one, so this data is coming from the body of our browser, right? From somehow it comes from the body. So how you gonna get this data inside our, now we have a controller function which will handle, right, all this data. So how it will do now? So here basically we're gonna destructure it now, right? So let's do that. Const we're gonna, let's say we're gonna have name, email, and password. Okay, equal to request.body, right? Same, you know, same, like there is no difference, same like before. Okay, so basically when you sign up, right, I mean we get the data, you getting that this data, but we need to, let's do something, right, to check if this user is already inside our database or not. We can check, right? So let existing user, for now let's keep it empty, right? Let's keep it empty, because when you sign up we must check our database if somebody is there or not already. So existing user, and we're gonna write a try catch block now, right? Because we're gonna deal with the database now. Catch. Okay, so here error, and let's console log this error for now. Simple enough. Error. Okay, so now we have name, email, password, requested body, existing user. So how are we gonna find the existing user, right? So we're gonna use this email, because we can have only one, people can have the people with the same name, maybe there are many, right? But the same person cannot create with the same email twice, thrice in our, we don't want that. Okay, so better we make sure we have a unique email also in our database. But before we process further to add this guy, right, or this user, we must check his email or her email basically in our database and make sure, you know, if it's already there, then we can give the answer, right? Oh, you are already you already have the account, please log in, right? Just log in, that's it, you know, no need to create new user, right? So we can just tell her like that. Okay, so we have to write the, basically the line here, we call it await, and we call our user, basically our model, right? User dot find one, right? So not find by id but find one, and you can pass any parameter here. So let's just pass the email, right? Email. Okay, so yeah, so we just pass the email, but remember we have to pass it, because this is not just simple variable, right? This email is a property and also the value. Okay, so we have to, you know, destructure, when you have something destructure and it is holding property and value, that means you must do the same thing, destructure it, right? Because you are not just sending this email, this is in the form of variable, but this is also the property of the object. In that case, always remember to do this. Okay, so now it will find the existing user, right? All right, so next what we're gonna do now, so we got the error done, so we're gonna check, right? Let's say if there is existing user, then, you know, we're gonna return basically response, right? Response with status, I think we add 400, and then JSON message, right? JSON with the object message property, and here we can call it you know what we can call it. Basically you have an account, right? Or just call it user exist. User exist, right? Please log in. Okay, simple enough. Okay, so that is done. So what else we can do now? Let's say if this user is not there, I mean, if it is true, if this is there, then we just return it, or we have to return. Make sure you return, right? So that we out of the, we just out of the sign up process, right? This function will just stop after the return. Okay. But if there is no user, means if this is falsy value, right? If this is falsy value, then we move to the next step now here. So we're gonna maybe, yeah, so we're gonna, what we're gonna do, right? So we're gonna basically create the object, right? We're gonna create the object. So let's create the new user now, right? Let user equal to, so new user, how you create that? You call your basically model, right? New user, and then you pass the data right here. So that will be name, email, and password. Okay, done. So once we create the user now, right, we have the user ready. Okay, we need to save this to the database. Now we're dealing with the database, so we add a try catch block. Try catch, always when you deal with the database or outside, right, make sure you have a try catch. Error, console.log error. Okay, error. So here what we're gonna do here, right? Let's say try. So we got the new, basically we just save, right? So we add a wait, and this user, right? This user, we're gonna save it. So just call that user object dot and save function. Done. Okay, so now this user has some object already, right? So we're going to return now the final message with, maybe we're going to just return the user added something, right? So let's do that one finally. Okay, once this is saved to the database, we can return some message. So return, because after all this process is done, right, you can return here the response status. We can add 200, maybe 201 dot json, and the message will be here. So what will be the message now, right? So we can call it user is created, right? Created. Okay, successfully. And if you want to return the, if you want, okay, so the problem is this is the object, right? So you must put the property here, message. And if you want, you can return, you have a user, just return the user also, right? Like that. Okay, that's fine. That user is the object already, so just put it there. It will return the it will just return that object, right? We'll check, we'll just check now. So we're done with the sign up, right? So let's test this. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, right? It's exported, so let's go to the route now. So we have sign up, just call here, and we just, so sign up means what? Posting, right? Is sending the data to the database. That is post route, and here will be sign up. I mean, what we can do, right? Even the login is also, what? The login is also post. Sign up is also post. So let's separate that. Okay, with sign up here. Sign up, right? So later we're gonna have slash login. Okay, good to go. So let's check if this will work now, right? So in our database here, we're gonna have post. So I'll just copy this link and add here, and slash sign up, right? Sign up. sign up. Raw text will be JSON. So now we're going to send some data. So what are the field we need to send? The name, right? Name. So will be Robert Welker. Okay, and then we're gonna have email, right? Email. So will be just call it test1, right, at gmail.com. Okay, and we're gonna have password, right? Password. So the password for now I'll just keep 12345 6, right? That's string, so 6 character, that's good enough. So the body, from the body, remember the HTML page, right, is the body of our website. So from there, just imagine we are sending or sign up now, sending, just clicking the button send, right, like that. So that is what we are doing. So let's send it and see what we get back. So there is something wrong, right? Name, email, password. So what is the error? Could not get response back, right? So let's see what we get here. Invalid status code. Okay. I did something mistake here. I believe this one. Uh, I think this is the one, right? So I'm just cannot send like that. Okay, I'm sending the JSON file, right? So maybe I might put it here, user, right? And that will work. I cannot put outside. So let's try again. So send request. Okay, so user exists, please log in, right? What happened? So that means it added already twice, right? Maybe. I mean, let's see if that added or not, right? So now I'm gonna send the request. Okay, so we got the user created already. Okay, and when you try to add again, you're gonna get the message, right? User exists, please log in. Okay, so let's change the Robert Welker 2 now, right? 2, and I'm gonna add the test 2 here and leave the password same, right? And send again. Okay, so now the user is created successfully and you're getting that user back, right? Whatever is added to the database. See that? So that's the user we create here, right? Using our this is the user. Okay, so now the thing is this, if you look at the password, right, this is 12345 6. Okay, so how are we gonna hash this password? How are we gonna hash it, right? Like how you gonna hashing means add the more secure password, like people cannot just look at and remember, oh, the password is 12345 6 test to, got it, let me log into his account, right? No, when you look at the password, maybe it's like big long number, crazy number, right? How are we gonna create that? So for that we gonna add one package, right? Let's install that. Okay, I think we forgot to add earlier. So npm install, right, bcrypt, bcrypt, bcrypt. This is the one, right? bcrypt. So this is like bcrypt hashing, just work as a hashing, right, algorithm. So bcrypt. Okay, so if you look at now in the packages, we got that bcrypt here, right? Okay, so we're going to use this to convert our normal password to the basically the one difficult one, right? Close that, I don't need whatever is coming back. What is this? No, go to the terminal. Why this pop up, So let's start npm start. Okay, so how are we going to convert now, right? Let's try that. So in our user controller here. So we created this user, okay, and you are saving here, right? But when you create this user, you must maybe give here the new value, right? This is this structure, but we can get something new here, you know, like crazy, right? Something like that. That's okay. But we're gonna add with the hash password. So let's import that hash right first. So import bc bcrypt, right? Bcrypt from bcrypt, right? Bcrypt. Okay, we got that. And here, so where is that? Here, right? So just, you know, just above this I'm gonna create const, let's call it hash, right? Hash, hashed hashed password, right, equal to bcrypt dot uh, hashed password. No, that is the hash sync. Okay, we have to use this one, this function, right? And you just have to send the information password. Okay, you just send the information, whatever the password you have, right? So this password we just pass there. Yeah, so I think, yeah, so that is done, right? So it will give us the hash password. Okay, it will just convert that, and this is the what we're going to use now. So here, password colon hash password, done. So now let's add the new one more user and see how it looks, right? Let's do that. So what I will do now, I'm going to create robot welker 3, and we're going to have the test 3, right? And leave the password 12345 6. Okay, and send the request now, right? Send the request. User exists already. Okay, did I messed up maybe? So okay, let's go back to the get and see. So API user, let's get all the user, right? So we have the 2 and 1, right? So I want to create the 3 now, you know? 3. I just need to change the email ID, right? Email ID, and send request. So now something is not correct. What is that? Looks throw error, data and salt argument required, right? Will be removed at any time. No. So data and so we have to add salt. There is something to do with the password. So salt argument required, we have to add salt. So let's see, the salt I think is saying something to do with this what is here, right? Controller bcrypt. I mean, this looks okay, but why password does hash, right? Hashed password. And sometimes just, okay, let's see. I will just try to Google search. You guys do the same thing. Okay, when you get error, right, try to search in the Google. So bcrypt, okay, that is fine. When you gonna hash, so where is hashing? So user dot password and salt, right? Generate salt 10 So we just pass comma some number, right? Maybe this is the salt, I believe. Error and salt. We don't need all that. Hmm. So okay, I think I did something wrong, right? Let's see what I have added here. Bcrypt package JSON bcrypt, right? No, I believe this is not correct. npm install bcrypt.js. Yeah, this will be better one. So controller, go back here, right? Bcrypt, so we can call it bcrypt.js, right? So this name should be fine. Yeah, so now let's see, bcrypt.hashing password. Now I think we don't need, right? Let's run it again and check. So npm start, so that will be bcrypt.js, okay? And we're gonna go back to our, so now I'm gonna send this request again, and got it, right, working. So look at this password now, right? Look at that password. Who gonna remember this? Okay, so that 1 2 3 4 5 6 just convert it like this, okay, with that one line of code. So our password is like more secure kind of thing in the database. So even someone can get this number, right? They will be not able to hash back, to the real password, okay? Because you have to compare, right? You have to convert this back to the password, and then whatever password you try to log in, let's say you're going to try 1 2 3 4 5 6, so that login password should be matched with this password, then only you will be able to uh, basically allow to log in. So, and we're gonna, during the login, right, we're gonna convert this back. So we have to use the, again, the same system, bcrypt.js. It will gonna have another function which will convert back to our normal password, and it will compare, okay? It will just return the true and false, right? Compare, if that is success, then it will return the true. If not, it will give you the false, and then you return the false message, right? Like password did not match, please try again, something like that. Okay, so that is done, right? Let's, what else we're gonna do? So we're done with the hashing password also. Now we're gonna have login, right? So let's write the login function. Okay, so login, let's do that. Const login, right? Equal to request response. That's long, God. Async. So I will export this now. Export, right? Export. So we're gonna have the same thing, when you log in, you're gonna have two fields like email and password. So let's get that from the body, equal to request.body, right? And when you try to log in, okay, when you try to log in, right, what gonna happen? Remember I told you this is password, not body. We have to find the person, if it's already exist or not. If that email is there in our system, right, in our database, then let's get that user back to our system, back to our program, right? now we're gonna compare that password with the password you try to log in. Okay, and if that is success, then only we will let you log in, right? So that is the idea here. So now, so let's call the variable called let existing user same like above. Okay, and then you're gonna have try catch again, because we're gonna go to the database error, right? uh, console.log error, simple enough. Okay, here we're gonna check, right, existing user equal to await, right? Await, you have to call the model, right, to get anything from the database. So find one, and then we're gonna pass that email you just try to use for login. So that is the email you try to use for login, right? Let's say you find this user, if there is a user now, right? So we're gonna do something. So if there is existing user, right, or for example, even we can say if there is no existing user, okay, then first let's check if there is no user. Okay, then we just return it. Okay, no need to do anything, right? Just return it, and we can call it response dot status 400, maybe 404, and then send the message. Okay, JSON message, JSON, and the message will be, so we send the message like no user found, right, with this email. No user found with this email. Okay, something like that. No user found, right? Done. Okay, but if there is a user already, then it will not return. We have to go back here, right, and we're going to do something. So what we will do now, so first we have to get back the password, the let's convert the password, right? So const uh, password is password correct. Okay, we're gonna create one variable is password correct, and we're gonna have bcrypt dot, we're gonna compare, right? So there is something called compare sync function, and inside here you have to pass the password, and then the password you just use for login, right? So that password which is here, in coming from the body, right, this password. Okay, and that password you pass that one, and next will be the password from existing user. So this existing user is what? This is the object with id. You have the name, see, it has the name, email, password, everything is there, right? So we're gonna call it existing user dot password. Clear? So that's it. Now it will return true and false, right? It's gonna return true and false. So if this both password match, then it will give you true. Just imagine you get true or maybe false, right? So the first thing we're gonna check is if there is no password match, right? If that means false. Okay, so if so, that is false, right? That is false. Let's imagine this one is false right now. So I'm saying if that is false, but I have to make it true, right? So that I can do something inside the if block, So I will just response or return. Okay, return response dot status 404 dot, and then JSON file message, and we call it incorrect password, right, like that. Okay, incorrect password. Now if this is true, now we got the password match, this is true now, then what we're gonna do? So we just return, right, we just return the response with status 200 and the JSON message will be message. Just give it the success for login now, right? So that will be login successfully, right? Log in successfully. Okay, done. Okay, I think that is all right. So this is already exported, already export. So let's go back to the user route now, and we're gonna basically add here router.post, again the new one, but this time will be login. Okay, we are doing the login, right? Login, same post, but will be localhost slash API slash user slash login now, and the function will be, we have to put the login function here, and it is imported now already. See that from the controller. Done. So let's do the testing if we can log in or not, right? So I will add one more here, and we're going to call it post, and it will be same, right? Just copy this. Why? Sign up. Okay, good. And then I'm going to change to login, right? And so I have to log in because I'm sending the data from the login form, the body, right? So from body, and that will be JSON format. So I'm sending the email and password. So email, right? So email will be, let's say I want to add test. We have test one also, right? So we are hashing now. Okay, hashing. So let's use the last one which we use for hashing, right? So I'll get all the information. So let's the test 3. Okay, let's use this one, test 3. So we're gonna call it test 3 at gmail.com. Okay, and then the password. Okay, we're gonna have basically 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So we have to use double quote, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and you put the comma here, right? No need. So that's it. So email and password, and let's send now, right? Let's send the request. We are just trying to submit for login now, right? Let's see what we get. So message login successfully, right? See that? So we are logged in now. Okay, so that means when you try to log in, right, you get login. So you're gonna have, like, in the front end, right, you're gonna write a code which will direct you to the page like dashboard, or maybe to your get all, wherever we're gonna direct, right? After successfully checked and you log in, you're gonna send to the page where only logged in people can access. Okay, when someone is logged in, then only you will be able to access, right? So it's just basically like directing to somewhere, when something happened, then send to somewhere, right? Like that. Okay, so login is also done. So what else we can do now, right? Yeah, I think that is all about the login. So we're gonna, yeah, so let's keep up to here, right? We're gonna do the tomorrow we're gonna do the blog, and also we're gonna establish the relation between blog and the user, right? We're gonna finish that part tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow, once we finish the blog, right, we're gonna set up our front end as well and create some of the work right in front end. Okay, guys, so hopefully everyone enjoy. Any question? I mean, I was talking loud. Is it okay, right? My sound was, everything was fine. Yeah, so good. Yes, anyone have any complaint, you can tell me. Okay.
Dev, I wanted to ask, in the previous projects, you changed, like, when you'd import, for example, Express from Express, you changed it to const Express equals to require
Yeah.
Express. What is the difference between the two?
Okay, so see the ES6, we are using ES6, ECMAScript 15, right? 2015, the ES6 JavaScript. So what we use today is the ES6, right? And that is what you use in the React and everywhere. You just import directly, right? So that is what we implement. These things are still in the experimental. I don't know if this is done or not, right? But I tried, after a long time, right? yesterday I was trying a little bit. I was testing to see if this will work or not, just in the packages and that, and it still did not work with the normal way. Okay, so we have to add that code, the experimental code, that line of code you have to include in your package. But if you don't put that one, right, if you don't change the type to module, then you can use the same, require. Okay, you can do the same. If you don't want to use this one, you can do the same require. Okay, there will be no different, right? You're gonna have the variable and same, the all the rest process is same. Okay, there is no difference. But this is the ECMAScript 2015, I mean ES6, what we use today, and the other one was the old JavaScript, right? That is the only different. So now React, every new library or framework using, directly import, right? You import directly. Okay, we don't use like cons require, all that. So you just try. Okay, just try, right? I will just push this code now online, right? And send you the link also, and there will be recording. If you guys need help, you can watch that one also. So just work on the old, if you are not done, right, just work on the old one and finish that one and then continue with this. So we'll not go quick. Finish that one also, and then you're going to start this one. Okay, all right, I will stop here.